The word tabarak is difficult to translate. I'll give you a rough translation and then rip it apart as we go. So tabarak alladhi biyadihi al-mulk, often translated, blessed is he in whose hand all dominion lies, or all kingdom lies. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ, and he's capable over all things. So that's a rough kind of general translation. Blessed is the one in whose hand is all kingdom, and he's over all things completely capable. But let's dig into the word tabaraka a little bit. Tafa'ala min al-baraka, it's the tafa'ala pattern, it's a certain verb pattern from the word baraka. وَالْبَرَكَةُ كَثْرَةُ الْخَيْرِ وَزِيَادَتُهُ وَأَصْلُ الْكَلِمَةِ تَدُلُّ عَلَى الْبَقَاءِ وَهُوَ مَأْخُوذٌ مِّن بُرُوكِ الْبَعِيرِ. This is a few things that I'd like you to take note of. You don't have to write this Arabic stuff down, but I'd like to read through it so I can refresh my thinking too, right? The first thing is the word barakah in Arabic, we kind of mean it as blessing, but in Arabic actually means excess in goodness. Okay, excess in goodness. Barakatul khair. وَزِيَادَتُهُ, and actually مَا يَزِيدُ التَّوَقُّعُ, other will say, what is beyond expected. So for instance, this part, for example, you had one bowl or one container of food, Tupperware of rice or whatever it is, and you have 8 people to eat. And they all ate from it and they're all filled and there's still some left. That little Tupperware had barakah in it. It produced more good than was expected. More good came of it than was expected, right? Similarly, barakah could be that, you said some good advice. You gave somebody some good advice. Maybe you should consider try to memorize a surah or 2 or something. You just said that, just a few words. But your words, Allah gave them barakah, so what happened? They ended up memorizing the entire Quran, and then they made all of their children hufaz, and then they started a madrasa that teaches tahfidh, and oh my God, all of that happened because you said maybe you should memorize Surah Al-Kawthar. So that would be barakah in your words. It's enhancing something far beyond expectation. That's the first meaning of the word barakah. Okay, and we'll look at the meaning of the word and then what it does in the ayah a little bit later. But let's just focus on the word for now. The second implication of this word is actually al-baqa, of something to last, of something to remain, of something to become permanent. And that's why burukul ba'ir, when a camel sits down, it ain't budging. You do whatever you want, it's not going to move. Right? So that's called burukul ba'ir. They say burukul tayr also when birds are sitting for a long time on water, ala al-ma'. When birds are just sitting there and they're not moving, that's also called burukul ma'. And so the idea of it is not only goodness that increases. When something increases a lot, that becomes unstable? Right? To give you a visual of that, kids are playing with Legos or blocks and they're putting block. And the more they add, guess what happens? The more unstable it becomes. The same thing happens with, it's probably a bad example, but no such thing, I guess. Masjids. When it's small, things are good. When they get really big, problems occur. Empires, governments. When Sahaba were a small band of people, no problem. When the numbers increase, instability. There's the insertion of hypocrites, right? And the great work of Allah turning into empire, for example, right? When businesses are small, lean and mean. When they grow, bureaucracies. Right? So in anything that grows and grows beyond expectation, it comes with a lot of problems. But the word barakah is actually interesting in that it prevents that from happening. Not only is something growing, but it stays stable. It stays constant. It has thabat in it. So it's an interesting play on both of those ideas together. So now let's look at the implications on the ayah of, what is Allah saying about Himself. تزايد خيره وتكاثر أي تبارك في الخلق بما جعل فيهم من البركة. The first meaning is the one who has this ability to instill barakah in everyone and everything that He created. So He is the one who empowers what you do and what I do, what you say and what I say, and what I earn and what you earn with barakah. He's the one who puts barakah inside a seed and it can grow into a tree. Right? That He's the one who does that. So by calling upon Him with that attribute or that verb, that's what we're saying. Allah enhances things beyond expectation. وَالثَّانِي تَزَايَدَ عَنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَتَعَالَى عَنْهُ فِي ذَاتِهِ وَصِفَاتِهِ وَأَفْعَالِهِ. That He Himself is beyond what you would expect. And you can never compare Him to any creation. That He Himself is more than you can ever imagine. Every time you imagine Allah to be something, He will be more than that. So when we try to encompass the wisdom of Allah, whatever concept we have, He is more than we can encompass. When we try to encompass the rahmah of Allah, the mercy of Allah, the care of Allah, the forgiveness of Allah, it will always be beyond what you can contain in your mind. It'll always be more than that. So this is and it's always going to be a constant. It's not something that's going to go away. Our concept of Allah should be above our imagination. Like our concept of hope in Allah should be above what we put, like we think about hope in other people, right? We should think more or higher of Allah. So this is the two implications. One, He gives barakah to, or He enhances more than expected His creation in things they do and what they are. And Himself, He is enhanced more than we expect. Both of those meanings hold true.